Welcome back to Tech Bata Dilimsi, everyone. For those of you who are new, my channel is about tech, cars, and anything else I do for fun. In today's video, I will be reviewing my 3D printer, the Kingroon KP3S, which I've been using for about 2 years. So for those of you who don't know what a 3D printer is, it's the same as a regular printer, except that it prints in 3-dimensional space by using additive manufacturing processes. The Kingroon KP3S is a cantilever designed 3D printer that uses a build surface of 180 by 180 by 180 millimeters. The structure of the printer is made up of plastic, steel, 2040 aluminum, and 3D printed parts. Specifically, the Z-axis is made of 2040 aluminum and the X-axis and base is made of steel, whereas other supporting parts are a mix of either plastic or 3D printed parts. Generally, cantilever designed 3D printers are known to have a bad build quality due to the X-axis only being supported on one side, but in this case the design is extremely rigid and provides highly accurate prints. The extruder moves on linear rails in the X and Y axis, which provides more stability than wheels. This is a good feature to have for a cheap 3D printer and helps give that extra bit of accuracy. The Z-axis, however, is a roller wheel setup where the wheels have to be tightened onto the frame to provide little vibration. There is an option to upgrade the Z-axis also to linear rails, either from Kingroon or aftermarket support. I may eventually do this upgrade myself, but for now we'll see. The extruder is a direct drive Titan style extruder where the hot end is PTFE lined. There's two types of extruders generally, and the image here shows you how they differ. Depending on the design, either one can work, but direct drive Titan style is a proven and powerful extruder, which is also a plus point for this 3D printer because it works really well. I have only had blockage issues once after a year of using this printer. This was caused by a bad PTFE lining, which is something that wears down over time anyways. Since Kingroon offers replacement parts, I had to just place an order for any of the parts I wanted to replace, and it doesn't hurt to order extra for emergencies. It's relatively cheap and arrived within a month. The stock printer comes with a magnetic sheet that is used to print on, but in my everyday using of this printer, I noticed sometimes the prints would get stuck on the sheet, and other times they wouldn't stick well. It was truly showing the cheaper part of this printer. As a result, this is one of the areas I upgraded with the Kingroon offering of a magnetic PEI sheet with the upgraded magnetic sheet as well. It was super easy to replace and my prints had no issues with sticking after that. It also helped removing the prints afterwards. It was a total breeze. The leveling of this build surface is done via the 4 knobs on the bottom and it's manual. An auto bed leveling system is available online. However, I find that the manual way also works extremely well. Once you set it, you pretty much never have to touch it again unless something changes. In my 2 years of owning this, I only really leveled this 3 times. You can print over USB or through microSD card. The two downsides is that the touchscreen is smaller at just 2.5 inches and the power supply is not integrated and instead a separate box. The power supply is a 15 amp 24 volt, which so far has never given me issues. The touchscreen works really well for what it is, and I'll show you the different options available now. The printer is able to run Clipper, however I just keep it in stock form as it does the job for me. However, I may eventually upgrade to Clipper in the future, but we'll see. This printer can print in various filament types and ABS is probably the only exception along with some specialty cases. One upside of having the power supply separate is that you can enclose the 3D printer with a custom enclosure or something off the shelf, if you can find it that is. And after all that, you can eventually get ABS filament to print as well, so that's a plus point too. When you first buy this printer, the setup is super simple and just requires you to install the Z-axis and X-axis on via the aluminum 2040 bracket and just screwing it in from the bottom. One thing to note is that the belts can become loose over time and must be inspected from time to time. This includes the other regular maintenance such as oiling the axes and cleaning the dust. Now let's look at some test prints. The printer overall prints extremely well and it has a ton of modifications available. If you instead buy this printer and slowly upgrade it bit by bit, not only will it give you satisfaction but also help you learn how each mod will affect and change the performance of the printer. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. If there is anything you guys want to know and it ends up being a huge list of things, I might just make another video on this, but for now, that's it folks. Thank you for your support and don't forget to like and subscribe.